Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Jacob and I'm in the street. So today we are going to be talking about something that, with the recent announcements of, Apple's new 4th generation iPad with a processor that's twice as fast as the 3rd generation, and Apple's new iPad mini, which directly competes with Google's Nexus 7. And, Google also released the Nexus 10 and the Nexus 4. Just a lot of new mobile devices are out, and this is a topic I've heard a lot about, is, people are comparing the devices, obviously. Google and Apple, they are now competing head-to-head, and, yeah, one of the things that people have been using to judge which device is better is which gives the user a smoother experience. And today I wanted to just tell you why, in my opinion, the smoother experience may or may not be something that's quite that important. So yeah, I've heard quite a few people talking about this. I'm just going to say it. Chris Pirillo is one of them. He really seems to value Apple's smoother interface, and I know some other people are supportive of Google's recent Project Butter. I do have my iPod Touch right here. I'm using my Android phone to record this, but I do have a Nook Color here, and I know this isn't technically Android, however the operating system is built off of Android, and it's not so much about Android as it is about the experience. I know this doesn't run Android, but it's still got the Android-esque experience. And by that what I mean is, iOS is known for being very, very smooth. And that means, when you swipe across home screens, you don't have any lag. And you'll see that's true for the most part. I will say that with my iPod, I've had some issues with it. However, that could have been because of me, because I did jailbreak it a while ago. And, once you start jailbreaking things and loading more into the memory, then you can never be quite sure exactly what the problem is. But ever since I upgraded to iOS 6, then it's been a whole lot better. I know the App Store, I had some issues with the App Store a while ago. But, even now, it's alright. It takes a bit to load. But, once it loads, then you'll see. I'll give it a second, let it load all the way. But, for the most part, I can scroll up and down, and you see a few drop frames there. Hardly any, however. And, yeah, my experience with iOS has not been quite as smooth as I know some other people's have been, but once again, I fully acknowledge that that could have been my fault. But, yeah. iOS is known for being very smooth. Android has been, in the past, known to be not quite as smooth. As you'll see, this is my Nook Color, and I'm sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. You see, I'm scrolling. There are quite a few dropped frames, compared to iOS at least. Quite a few dropped frames. I can go to the, are you even focused? Can you even see what I'm doing on here? Alright, we'll take my word for it. There are quite a few drop frames. When I'm scrolling up and down on my homepage is fan fiction on here, because, it's a Nook, so I read. But, when I'm zooming in and out, it's not quite as smooth as iOS. And that, I'm just going to state as an outright fact. There's no opinion to that. Android is, or at least in the past, has been less smooth than iOS. That's just how it is, or how it was. Now, I will tell you, I have not gotten a chance to try any of Google's Nexus products yet. On my Christmas list is the Nexus 7, specifically because it's $200, it's the cheapest, and I can't always have access to the more expensive devices. But yeah, what am I even talking about? I'm sorry. We do have drop frames on iOS. on Android. We do have some drop frames on iOS, not nearly as many. And that, there's no question about, are there more drop frames on Android than there are on iOS? Yes, there are a heck of a lot more drop frames. What I'm questioning is, do those drop frames really matter? When it comes, like, at the end of the day. Not, when we're comparing the devices, do they matter? Yes, of course they matter. You have to note every single difference between devices. But, at the end of the day, to me, they don't matter. To you, they might matter, and I'm going to tell you why it differs in a moment. I'm not saying that you should not care about drop frames. I'm just saying that, personally, I do not care about drop frames. Why don't I, though? And why do you care? Because, as I told you, I don't always have access to the more premium products. Apple's iPad mini, if I wanted to get that, then I might be able to put it on, like, a Christmas wish list or something. I don't always have all that much money to be spending on technology. And the reason I'm telling you that is because the reason why I don't care about drop frames is because I'm used to them. It's all about conditioning. It's all about what you're used to. I grew up with cheap products. Cheap stuff, like this. And, you know, this has a lot of drop frames, but my parents could afford to get me it for my birthday 2 years ago. I'm still using it a year and a half later because, yeah, it was a year and a half ago, but I'm still using it a year and a half later because I didn't get any new ones because I already have this, and it still works. And I know some people like the newer things. I would like the newer things, but I don't have newer things. I have this, and I have lived with this, and so when I see the drop frames, it doesn't really make me cringe as much as it might make somebody who's used to more premium products cringe, because this is what I am used to. This is normal for me. Now, if you grew up with, keep in mind, I'm 14. I'm not saying, oh, you know, a long time ago. No, obviously a long time ago, tablets and stuff like that weren't around. But if you're used to using, in, you know, the history of this class devices, if you're used to using the newest iOS device, the newest iPad out there, then, yeah, switching back and downgrading might seem like a problem to you. I'm struggling to find how to say this. It's kind of like, some people have, like, workstations, and they complain about their computers being slow. And, you know, me, I don't have a workstation. I just this year for my birthday got the parts to build my desktop computer. It's not a workstation. It is a very powerful desktop, though. It's got an i7 Sandy Bridge processor, and coming from an AMD laptop, then that i7 processor is lightning fast to me. But if you were coming from, like, a 12-core Exxon workstation, then this might be a little slow for you. It's like that. It's whatever you're used to using, it's relative based on that. And so, do drop frames matter to me? No, because I'm used to using stuff like this. I'm used to using things with drop frames. That is why drop frames don't matter to me. And the reason I'm making this is not to tell really people who don't care about drop frames why some people do, because that's clear enough. You care about drop frames. Some people care about drop frames because they're used to not seeing any of those, and they're used to that smooth experience. That is perfectly understandable. This video is more for, I know some people who don't like drop frames, don't understand. Okay, for some reason that video just ended when I was editing it, so I'm just going to finish right now. Yeah, once again, this video was more to explain to the people who do make a big deal about drop frames, which is totally fine, why some people don't care, because the people who do care about drop frames didn't seem to understand why some people don't. And so, yeah, I just explained why. You can rewind the video if you want to hear it again. I think I did a pretty good job, actually. I was just editing the video right now. But yeah, once again, I am Jacob Kaufman. I'm the Nerd on the Street, and please like my videos, subscribe to me, and yeah, I will see you later. See ya.